equation. Who's the person you need to sell most likely is the guy in the mirror. I'll get up in the morning and you go, do I really want to go do this? Do I want to go out there and compete in the world? Do I want to go slay the dragon? Well, life's a game and games are fun. So figure out how to make life a game. And sales, some people think sales is a bad thing. Well, no, sales is about solving problems. And the best salespeople are the ones that solve the biggest problems. So our goal is to teach you how to be able to do that. And there's certain tools, there's certain things, there's certain secrets. Just like a magician has little secrets of what they do to make a magic trick, well, sales helps you to have a better life. There are secrets and strategies that you use. So I'm going to bring my friend Kurt Mortensen on, and we're going to go back to sales school for this next section. Kurt, take it away.
All right, Success and Money Foundation, welcome back to Sales School. You know how important this is. You got to sell your ideas, sell your thoughts, sell your product, sell your service, sell your children. Well, you're not going to sell your children, but you know what I mean. This is a skill you'll be using in every aspect of your life to get more yeses. So hopefully you've done that homework from the last time, turning the no to a yes and getting the right mindset that, hey, no's are okay. That gets you closer to a yes. People get so stuck in the fear of rejection, the fear of criticism, the fear of the no. Okay, you've heard it. What have I said? Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? That's what you need to do. You're closer to making the sale, closer to getting the yes. So don't get all tense when they say no or even say maybe. Get more yeses. That's the key. Now, what are we going to focus on today? This is Sales School number 10. It's time for the power tools. We've set the foundation. Now we can take you up a couple notches. What are some of those power tools as a salesperson that you need to know, you need to understand? It's all about having more tools in your sale box. In your toolbox, we get that right. What have we talked about before? Most people have 3, 4, maybe 5 persuasion techniques. The only tool in your toolbox is a hammer. You treat everyone like a nail. Get more tools. So even if you use it once a month and it seals the deal, gets the yes, it's good to have that tool. When people trying to chop down a tree with a hammer, you can do it, but they're better tools. Axe, stick of dynamite, tractor, chainsaw, a lot of different options here. So these are some tools you can add to that sales, persuasion, influence toolbox that you have. So let's dive into it. Giving them options. That's the key. People want to make their own decisions. They don't want to be forced what to do. Because even if you talk about your product, they need it, want it, like it, and they feel forced to do it, they're not going to do it. They want to feel like they're choosing. So let them. People want to be autonomous. This is true with your teenagers too. Example, elderly lady. Well, wouldn't take her medication because the doctor says this medication you take every morning with your breakfast. Wouldn't do it. Doesn't want me to tell her what to do. Kids try to persuade her, wouldn't do it. Finally took to another doctor, a little smarter, said, look, we've got this medication. Do you think you want to take it with your breakfast or your dinner? They're dinner. They get to choose. They're autonomous. That's the key. That is what you're looking for. Don't tell them what to do. They need to feel like they choose. The doctor didn't care whether it was breakfast or dinner, and she felt like she chose. So here's some of the rules. First one, 2, maybe 3 options at the most. I mean, how many perfumes can you smell without knowing what you smelled? 2 to 3. That's how it is. Work with a mutual fund advisor. It's like, here are the 77 mutual fund that fits your needs. An overwhelmed brain says, no, 2 or 3 options. That's all we can handle. 2's the best, 3 at the most. In fact, there's a supermarket on a Saturday had these jams and jellies, and they were on sale, and they were giving tasters out. And I said, here, try 16, these 16 jams, and whatever you like the best, here's a half off coupon. Hurt sales. But when they reduced the number of tasters, it increased sales. You know this to be true. So the second one is that they all win for you. Do you want to meet Tuesday or Wednesday? All right, they get to choose. Do you want it in black or white? Let them choose. You don't care. Doctor didn't care if she took their medication with breakfast or dinner. Didn't care. They all win. Let them choose. Let them be autonomous. What a power school. We always want to tell people what to do. Let them choose. And final one on options, let them choose. That's what we've been talking about. But let's talk about this a little bit. Just put it out there. Use your silence. Let them choose. Because when they choose green or black, Tuesday or Wednesday, small or large, done and done, You don't need to close them because they've closed themselves because you give them the option. What a great close the option close. Do you want it in this or that? We've talked about closes, but giving these options goes a long way. Next tool is inoculation. This is when you anticipate resistance or pre-solve the objection before it happens. Because you know these objections are going to be coming up. Inoculation, just like the medical term, you're pre-solving the disease. You're fixing it before it happens. You're giving the weak part of the disease so it fights the strong part of the disease. Sales and persuasion is the same. When your prospect has an objection, it's like their brain hits a brick wall. They don't going to listen to anything else you say. They have a question. They have an objection. And so that's all they can think about. So great persuaders pre-solve objections before they happen. Whoa, they pre-solve them. That's the key. Now, for example, lawyers do this. Hey, the opposing counsel is going to call my client mean, ugly, and a bad member of society. Well, that's true, but that's not why they're on trial today. So they took away the sting before it even happened. Children will be approached by drug dealers. You don't just let it happen, you inoculate. Say, all right, son, this is what's going to happen. They're going to make you feel awkward. They're going to blow your self-esteem. They're going to be samples. They're going to use peer pressure. This is what you say. This is what you do. So when it happens, they have the antibodies, the ammunition to fight it off. That is the key. For example, if you were selling the most expensive photocopiers on the market, you're getting ready to talk to the manager, and oh, there's your competitor. They're next. They're after you, and they're the cheapest. And you know they're going to say they're the most expensive. All right, inoculate, pre-solve it. Don't just let it happen. Say, look, maybe my competitors will say that we are the most expensive, and we are top of the line. But you know what? We last 5 years longer, and we're providing the toner, we're providing the maintenance. In fact, when you do the math, we're actually one of the least expensive. And so when they say they're the most expensive, they have the ammunition, the information, the antibodies to refute that. That's the key. That's what you want to do. Now, word of caution here, word of caution. You don't want to attempt to pre-solve any potential objections, but if you know 95% accuracy is coming up, you better inoculate, pre-solve it. That's what great salespeople do. Another one, the old presupposition. This is when you presuppose they're going to do it. You're going to assume the sale. You're going to assume the offer's been accepted. When you say you're really going to love how this car handles in the mountains, presupposes you're going to buy the car. When you want your couch sent, presupposes you're going to buy the couch. You're just assuming. Now, this has a high cheesy factor to it. Well, you're going to love how this car handles in the mountain. If you don't like the car, you haven't chose the car, that's what they lead with, not good. But if they're sitting on the fence, they're feeling good, you're always using words that when you're in this car, when we're in the meeting, when we're working together, when we're coaching, you're just using words presupposing they're going to do it. And that increases your ability to sell. It's called the law of expectations. That's very important. If I'm knocking on your door and I'm wiping my feet with the presupposing I'm going to get in, it increases the chance that I'm going to get in. If I hand you a pen with the contract, increases the chances you're going to sign it. It doesn't guarantee it, but that's kind of how it's set up to presuppose. So watch your language, and that just that they're going to do it when we're in business, when you're using this product, when your problem solved, when you're sitting on the beach, whatever your product or service is. That's the old presupposition. Again, don't use it too soon, but once you've identified their pain and you've given them a solution, you're talking about solving the solution. That's what a presupposition is. That's how that works. Another one, let's crank up our humor. Humor creates a positive environment, increases mental participation. They become memorable. They remember you and your product or service more. And it increases likability. They like you more. Off the charts, adding a little humor. Now we got to be careful here. When you use humor, people will laugh with you or feel sorry for you. You got to practice your humor. I mean, tell you, when you use humor, get them to laugh, smile, especially in today's world. We've talked about this, being optimistic, using some humor, creating a joke list, whatever you need to do, borrowing humor. It could be a meme, it could be a comic, it could be a YouTube video clip, any of those to add a little humor. That is key. And it releases oxytocin in their brain. You become more likable, actually increases trust. There's a bond, there's a connection, and people need it. In today's world, we need to laugh, we need to smile. Add a little something, something, add a little humor. You've got this, you can do this. Create a joke list. That is so easy to do. When you say, what did one snowman say to the other? Oh, it smells like carrots. Ha! Dumb, I know. What are the 2 reasons you shouldn't drink out of the toilet? Number one and number two. I dreamt about mufflers all night last night. I woke up exhausted. Did you hear about the new restaurant on the moon? Yeah, good food, but no atmosphere. All lame, all kind of dumb. Just get a little something, something, a little smirk, a little smile. Those are all, I just recently put those on my joke list. That's something that you can do. Now make sure that your humor's not offensive. Everything's offensive now. You gotta be very careful. A lot of the humor I used to use, which still don't think is offensive, people get offended by it. Make sure it's relevant to what you're talking about and keep it short. It doesn't have to be that long. Or have somebody else tell a joke in the meeting, or have somebody else bring in something funny. Whatever you need to do, humor is off the charts. It connects you, it builds people skills, releases oxytocin. You look at the great, charismatic, persuasive salespeople. They're fun to be around. They're optimistic. They get you to laugh. They get you to smile. You feel good about yourself. There's hope. You can see yourself doing what they're asking you to do. That is key. That is key to become a successful salesperson. In fact, take a look at this quote on the impact of humor. John Cleese was a comedian. If I can get you to laugh with me, you like me better, which makes you more open to my ideas. If I can persuade you to laugh at a particular point I make, by laughing at it, you acknowledge its truth. So true. So true. Now, here's a powerful one, reciprocal concessions. When someone persuades you to change your mind, they'll be inclined to do the same. Now, I know it's a long word, reciprocal concessions, but it comes from one of my laws of persuasion, law of reciprocity, law of obligation. But basically, when you're trying to sell somebody, they resist, they don't want to be sold. They love to be consulted and by an expert, but they don't want to be sold. So reciprocal concession just means when you're at a point where you're getting a lot of resistance, let them persuade you on a few points you don't care about. Catch that? So let them persuade you for points and they'll reciprocate and let you persuade them on the important points. You can kind of go back and forth. In a negotiation too, if you're getting a standstill, concede on something you don't care about and give a concession, they're more likely to give you a concession. So pretty simple human nature. You feel a lot of resistance, let them, yeah, you're right. What a powerful phrase in our language. You're right. I can see your point. I get it now. I understand. Those are powerful things that you can do not only to boost their esteem a little bit, that's a whole nother law of persuasion, but you're helping them open the door to persuasion. Because if you can't be persuaded, they're not going to be persuaded. If you're not going to give a concession, they're not going to give a concession. If you're not going to agree to anything they say, they're not going to agree to anything you say. Human nature 101, reciprocal concessions. Now let's get into the VBC, your verbal business card. That's what I call it, verbal business card. This is critical. People call it the elevator pitch, the elevator speech. Why? Because if you got on an elevator with somebody and you've got 15 seconds to get them interested in what you do. So I call it a VBC, a verbal business card. This is critical that you craft this out because people really blow it here. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a sales trainer. Oh, okay. No. Hey, what do you do? I'm a real estate agent. Hey, what do you do? Oh, I'm in network marketing. Hey, what do you... That's a dead-end road. They've opened the door for you. You need to monopolize that. And remember, I've talked about this, and everybody you meet can do business with you or know somebody that can. You've got to develop a 10, 15-second pitch presentation, whatever you want to call it, the VBC, the verbal business card. They're opening the door. You need to make sure that it stays open. Here's some suggestions. Get them to ask more about what you do. That's nice. You're in real estate, that you teach persuasion, that whatever your product or service is, you've got to get their eagerness, their green glands going, what's in it for them, what they're talking about. You got to really work with this. You really got to build some intrigue, some curiosity, and this is known as the Zeigarnik effect. Basically, remember anything that's unfinished. For example, news programs are good at this. You're getting ready to turn it off, get ready. They say, oh, your drinking water's killing you. Stay tuned. It's unfinished. So anything that arouses curiosity, that's unfinished, right? We want to hear the end of the story. If somebody goes from point 2 to point 4 and they miss point 3, we want to, and you can strategically use this. Your goal when you tell them this is to get them to ask you more information. You want to get them intrigued with what you do. That's what's so important here. So think about this. So Zygarnik effect, let me explain a little bit. This comes from Bluma Zygarnik, Russian psychologist. So she's at a cafe. Waiters are coming around taking orders, and they didn't have any pads. They just remembered the order. And she was what? They were delivering. No pads. They just remembered the order and delivered it. Okay. But once they delivered it, they couldn't remember what it was. Like, what? Our brain is wired to remember things that are unfinished more than things that are finished. Right? Does that make sense? Understand how that works. So if you're leaving a voicemail, just say, hey, those 3 things we talked about, I found the perfect solution, give me a call. Unfinished, doesn't guarantee they'll call you back, but they want to understand it more. That's the Zygarnik effect, and that's what you want to do here. Intrigue, curiosity, unfinished, tell me more. That's what your goal with this. So let's talk about some tips with this verbal business card. The first one, connect. You've got to connect, you got to smile, you got to enjoy it. If you don't mind, you're glad they asked you. This is a time to connect. Your first impression, open body language, the smile, the good eye contact, things that we've ever talked about. Next one, what can you do in 15 seconds to grab that attention? To get them intrigued, to get them to want to know more. Again, your goal is to ask, how do you do that? Tell me more. That's interesting. Wow. And they want to be your friend. They want to talk to you. They want the solution to their problem. Another one with verbal business card is the WIFT. What's in it for them? What's in it for them and their team? What's going to improve? What's the solution? What type of vision are you building? That's key. And final one, got to do it in 15 seconds. You have that time frame. How do you do that? So some examples. Have you ever had a prospect or customer that wanted your product, needed your product, could afford your product, but did not buy from you? I guarantee that will never happen again. That's simple. You can do this. That's something that I would use. And like, whoa. Now, if they're like, oh, that's nice. They're not in sales. They don't care. And it's not appropriate for them. That's fine. But when they say, well, how do you do that? Tell me more. That's the key. That's what you're looking for. Another one. I help entrepreneurs make an extra $2,000 a week. So, whoa, how do you do that? If they're an entrepreneur, they're going to ask. That's how they are. They might know an entrepreneur. When you talk about the Success and Money Foundation, you can do a verbal business card for that. I help people become more successful, help become financially independent, to learn the things they didn't learn in school, to learn the valuable life skills that will change their life forever. I teach people how to make the world a better place. Depending on your angle, there's a variety of things you can do. Here's another example. Have you ever wanted to achieve financial independence and wondering what was taking so long? I show people how easy it is, right? And just stop. Again, if they don't say anything, they're too busy having a bad day, it's not appropriate for them, but most people, how do you do that? That's a goal. Another one, I make millionaires in real estate and the internet and the side hustle in information marketing, fill in the blank, could work for you. So another key, the response. Well, how do you do that? That's your goal. That's what you want. That's when you've struck gold. Now you have permission to tell them anything you want. And you feel like you want to tell them that, but you got to say, hey, tell me exactly what you do, then I can tell you how it applies to you. Did you catch that? I know. Right. So you hit the golden cloud. How do you do that? You want to vomit on them. You want to tell them, no, hey, tell me about yourself. Let's see if we're a perfect fit. I'll tell you how to do it. Then you can adapt. Then you can customize. Then you can work through it. You have permission to sell. They've opened up. They've asked you. How do you do that? And that's the key to your success of this, that verbal business cards. Some things to think about. Who is your target market? What is your guarantee? What grabs their attention? What are the rewards, benefits? How are you better, different than your competitor? What are your success stories? Those are just there to kind of trigger. What is your verbal business card? And you can try out 2 or 3. Maybe one straight for an analytical person. I increased sales 47%. Maybe you want more for the amiable type person. If you're in real estate, have you ever gone through a house and it was perfect for your family, your dream home, and you wanted it so bad, but you didn't think you could get into it? I make those dreams a reality. And then shut up. How do you do that? Well, tell me about your situation. What type of house you're looking for, and I'll tell you how I can help you. get more information. There you are, permission to sell, permission to do it. Wow, off the charts persuasion tool. That's what you're going to be working on this week, your verbal business card. Let's talk about homework. Create your verbal business card and come up with a couple ones. Maybe you want to adapt, learn to read people, but at least come up with one. Start testing it out, fine tuning it. Your goal, tell me more. How do you do that? You're arousing curiosity. Don't say, I'm in real estate, I'm a trainer, I sell oranges. No. Have you ever peeled an orange and you were so excited and just didn't have it? I have found the most perfect oranges in the world. And then shut up. Whatever it is, that's the key. That is what you're focusing on. That is what you need to do. So there you have it. Do your homework, become more persuasive, become a better salesperson. Use this to promote the Success and Money Foundation. It's in your best interest. Not only do you profit from it, they profit from it. They like you more. You've shared something very valuable, and you're making the world a better place. Do it, make it happen, do your homework, and we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks, Kurt. We love having Kurt on. He is wonderful. He is a major player in helping us to get the foundation up and rolling. So thanks for watching, everybody. Stay tuned. We're going to start giving away some money now. It's the end of the class. And thanks, everybody.